I've never been much of a fan for the Santa's replacement subgenre. Usually it features the potential Santa Claus misconstruing the true meaning of Christmas right up until like the very last minute. Or worse, it just boils down to another fish out of water story. What's this? I'm Santa Claus now? Wow, wow.
You killed him.
Did not.
I can only think of a handful that really seem to explore the idea in ways that really reach me emotionally. But none of them are quite like the wonderful little journey I took exploring Santa's Apprentice.
Don't think of this as a toy store. We work here. Each year, to produce our high volume of handmade toys, we order 250,000 false doll eyelashes, 400 tons of glitter, and of course, there's 500,000 pounds of candy, which must be made without eating a single piece. Good luck with that. Nicholas, I don't have all day.
Sorry, Santa.
Let's take a step back and I'll explain how I discovered this little gem. First, I saw this thing on Netflix called The Magic Snowflake. And I'm like, okay, looks fine. I'm down. But as I'm watching it, I noticed that the Santa is already giving out his outfit to a kid. And that's when I start feeling like I've missed this whole other story. Sure enough, I back out and I see Santa's Apprentice. And I'm like, okay, this is the first one. I should start here. But wait, I've seen that goofy hat before. Yeah, a DVD I snagged at a dollar store. I assumed it was just another Christmas special, so I was saving it for a list. Forgot I had it, and never watched it. Until now. Turns out the whole thing started with a French-Canadian animated series. The movie is basically a retelling of the same story. Every Santa has to eventually choose an apprentice that needs to meet 3 qualifications.
Name has to be Nicholas.
He has to be an orphan.
And he must be pure of heart.
Those last 2 seem really superficial, but whatever, fairy tale logic. I'm going to be focusing on the movies for the most part, so let's just get a quick rundown of the series. The show starts with Nick already living at the North Pole as Santa's apprentice, which is fine because the format is story of the week kind of stuff. It's fun for the most part, like how the boogeyman and his son are Santa's rivals. And just some really weird stuff like how Mrs. Claus's mom is an old biker chick. And in one episode we find out that there is a secret race of mutant elves that are locked under the factory. Big oof there. Oh yeah, the elves! I mean, kudos for originality, but they're creepier than the elves from the movie Elves.
By my whiskery chin, it looks like the elves are doing gymnastics this evening.
Oh, my tummy.
Also, Nick is really Australian in this.
The secret of Christmas Eve. How do you manage to deliver all your presents in one night?
No, not yet. You're too young.
Oh, but just give me a little clue, please, Santa, yeah?
Which is also where they find him in the movie, but there really isn't a trace of any accent from him or any of the other Aussies in the movies.
Oh, what a cute little bunny! Give me back my Rabby!
Why do you have to be so mean?
I don't know. For fun.
I'm just waiting for him to break out a petrol or a no worries. But no, never comes.
Ha ha ha!
Wow.
See? The laugh makes the fairy lights twinkle, only I've improved it. Reckon I could take over from Santa right away.
What's that? This is an actual button from Santa's coat. My friend Felix gave it to me.
And of course you have the poetic irony that the next Santa Claus comes from a country where Christmas is a summer holiday, and in a city where it hasn't snowed since 1836, at least at the time of filming. Besides that, I'd have to say I prefer the art style of the films more than I do the TV series, which I guess is to be expected, with the budgetary difference. But also, Santa just looks buggy here. Let's talk about Santa before we move on. In the show, Santa's innocence and childlike impulse is usually a point of conflict. He wants to play with all the toys, he wants the shiny new gadgets, and he can't control himself around sweets. In the movies, Santa is way more subdued, intelligent, and responsible. Except for the fact that he loves being Santa so much that he put off picking an apprentice until the very last possible minute.
You only have a few hours to choose an apprentice.
After December 24th, it'll be too late.
If you haven't chosen one before then, it's written that the magic of Christmas will melt away forever, just like a snowflake in spring.
Let's stick a pin in that, because that will also come to play in the sequel. But for now, the main conflict is basically Santa has to fast-track his new apprentice over the course of a single year.
I see you, Santa. I see you. I see you, Santa. I see you.
A rather unlikely candidate at that.
We're both named Nicholas.
Two Nicholases?
That's right.
He could never go down chimneys. He's afraid of heights. And look how scrawny he is. I'm fat and happy.
Except for the pure of heart thing, which Santa immediately sees in the young Nick.
Ugh! I bet the North Pole stinks, and you'll both freeze to death. Anyway, I'll get my revenge. You'll see.
I'm sure that means nothing.
I'll get you for this.
And even though they make some tremendous progress, mistakes happen and emotions run high. Nicholas accidentally burns down a bunch of gifts with his super secret toy invention, and Santa actually forgets his magic orb, which he needs to deliver toys. But ultimately, the two realize that they're both going to have to get out of each other's comfort zones in order to truly live up to the name of Santa Claus. And just maybe become a family.
What would I have done without you?
And again, things seem to work out. In his first official act as a Santa Claus, Nick gives his friend from the orphanage and his adoptive parents a new home, after they've fallen on some hard times. Kind of raises a lot of questions about how Santa just doesn't solve the housing crisis. But whatever, fairy tale. And the plumbing and electricity couldn't possibly be connected to anything. Okay, I'll stop nitpicking. But things get complicated when they revisit the orphanage, where evil Nick has set up a sting operation.
Gotcha.
By the way, real great police work taking in the supposed kidnapper into custody, but not questioning the victim. And just also letting him get assaulted by another child right behind your back. And now that evil Nick has control of the magical orb, he tries to go off and, I assume, take over the North Pole. However, Nick proves to be just as nimble and quick as his namesake, and even overcomes his fear of heights to stop evil Nick. This is basically Die Hard. Furthermore, Santa gets out of jail by dropping some knowledge on the policeman.
You're little John Stevens. When you were 6 years old, I gave you a pair of plastic handcuffs, and I've lived to regret it. And you're little Jeff Sampson. I remember the time you stole candy from Old Man Williams.
Is that true, Inspector?
Well, how did you know?
Learning that even though he won't be the Santa, he will still be all the things that made him Santa in the first place. And that will never go away.
We're going to spend some time together, just you and me. Go to the park, play ball, roller skate.
Arm wrestle?
If you want.
So everything is set right. And Nick even reconnects with this little girl who he shared a crush with. Yeah, I'm sorry I haven't talked about her much. She's in the movie, just periodically. She's the first one to notice what a nice guy Nick is, the first one that kind of suspects evil Nick is up to something, and the one that really misses him when he goes missing.
Wow. You know what? I could be your lucky star.
Whoa! I say you need to slow down a bit, but they've kind of already moved in with each other by the sequel. And hey, she's actually doing stuff this time. Really calling the tough decisions, making things run as smooth as possible. And, of course, the first to see that Nick is having some real issues. And the first to try and remedy it.
Someone shouted the emergency bell.
Did you?
I did. I'm sorry. I didn't know what else to do. You're just not yourself.
I honestly didn't have high hopes for the sequel because, you know, animated sequels. But I might actually like this one way more than I do the first one. Because, well, it kind of flips a tired old cliche on its head. Usually there's always this plot element about, oh no, the children, they're growing up too fast. They don't believe in Santa anymore. This movie asks, what if Santa was the kid? And what if he didn't believe in himself? This problem kind of stems from issues that were never really resolved in the first movie, or even in the series. Nick has always been a very serious kid. Too serious, in fact. And he never really moved on past his parents' death. In fact, he gets angry about it.
Santa does exist. Who else brings presents on Christmas Eve then?
Parents, duh.
Parents? They're the ones that don't exist.
As a result, he's having some real performance anxiety about this whole Santa thing.
So for Christmas, I want a remote-controlled flying bug. But a nice one that won't scare my sister, or I'll be in trouble.
I was wondering why Nick was having so much trouble designing a simple child-friendly bug toy. And then I remember, oh, he's from Australia, aka Everything Will Murder You Island. This is probably the safest bug toy you can think of. So unless Nick learns how to balance both the heart of a child and the responsibilities of Santa, the magical MacGuffin of this movie will melt away. Yeah, the titular magic snowflake. What does it do? I don't know. Be magic. And I would like to reiterate that this is all the old Santa's fault, because he waited way too long to give up the mantle. He should have been training this kid for years up to this point, instead of just kind of dumping it all on him at once. Speaking of which,
Each Santa Claus has his own personal advent calendar, which appears to him in times of trouble. Each numbered door is connected to a year of your life, past and future.
So to summarize, Santas are now a combination of Jedi, Avatar, and Time Lords. And so Nick has to go on a time-traveling journey to regain his favorite lost toy. Hopefully that will give him the inspiration it takes to become Santa. All the while observing foreboding possible futures and tragic events from the past.
Mom? Dad?
Oh god. I swear, if there's a third movie, it's gonna have like some sort of iceberg monster for the villain. Meanwhile, one of the older Santas that's filling in for the other two pretty much has gone insane. Like full boomer.
Nicholas makes really great ones.
Ah, yes, I've seen these computer things. They cause children to stay indoors, sitting alone, staring blankly at a screen.
Ultimately, he has decided to destroy every item in stock and to make his all-purpose super toy. Bricks!
Vroom! Rocket ship! Zoom! Ah! With two of them, you could have a puppet show! Hello!
Hello.
Well, at least he's not locking people up. Okay, he is locking people up.
Susie, we got a Django problem on our hands. Santa's going nuts!
Meanwhile, the first other Santa has to leave Nick in order to go on an important mission to find his lost stuffed bunny. Turns out using fast travel while your magical power source is melting is not a really good idea. But I guess it's important if every Santa's first toy is the source of their connection to the... Oh wait, no, it's the actual Pure of Heart thing.
It's not a toy.
What?
A lesson Nick learns on his own when he tries to steal the only toy his parents ever gave him from his 3-year-old self. No, really.
Thank you. Who are you? Are you new here?
I'm Santa Claus.
Haha, you don't look like him.
I promise, I'm Santa.
Okay, can I tell you how much I love this scene? He's telling himself that he is Santa Claus. Literally and metaphorically. I mean, I got literal goosebumps.
One day, you'll see.
And now with a newly discovered outlook and confidence, it's time for Santa to save Santa from Santa, who, I kid you not, starts to throw bricks at children.
Stop showing off! How do you know all these children so well? That's what I'd like to know.
Because I'm Santa Claus.
But Nick manages to get through to the old Santa, remakes all the toys, and still manages to deliver all the gifts with the help of his newest creation. And if it had ended there, it would have been great. But then they go on and add some stuff about embracing new traditions. And then Mrs. Claus shows up after being missing for almost the whole movie. What did she do? Swim here? And the old Santas are still underneath the magical snowflake. Remember? That thing? That thing that was really important? Week ending aside, I really enjoyed all of this. Well, the movie's more than the TV series. In fact, I kind of wish that there was a TV series based off the movies now. And man, can the French make a really nice looking feature. And this might be my new favorite passing of the torch story ever. It teaches us that Santa isn't just this avatar for a vague concept of childhood innocence and charity. Both Nick and Santa display an empathy that goes far beyond handing out toys once a year. And they actually have to work hard to overcome their insecurities to help others. It's like a practical version of the saint. One that reminds us that we can all be Santa. Which is ironic considering the whole naming requirement thing. I mean, pure of heart is the most important. The orphan thing is just practical, I guess, although dark. The name thing just really bugs me. I mean, what if these two had a kid, and they named him Junior, and he would be like the perfect Santa? Is he disqualified because he has parents? I really think they need to explore this, because how the hell did this guy have a pure enough heart to become a Santa?